Okay. So this video is going to be about Ironheart. I know there's another person on screen. It's not really a hate video on him. You know, he throws out his comments. I get him on my feed sometimes, just like NC Hammer and Weeb Commander. I just have to say that every single time because it depends on how you know him. So just like him, he happened to have a mini crash out, if you will, over Ironheart. He posted, let me just show you. I don't know the specific dates, but like, I only know because it fit me. Here's the first one. And then there's two in a row right here. And I just watched them. As I was watching Ironheart, all I thought was it was a normal show. Alright? So we're gonna hit you with a hard review of hard mid.
No, worse than CW.
A little bit lower than mid.
A little bit lower than CW. Modern CW. Let's not go back in time there. Modern CW.
I only say
worse than that. I can tell you that.
I only say that it's that kind of mid because the concept of the bank robberies was... It just made me laugh. Hold on. You remember this? Like, what did you compare Ironheart to, real quick?
The new Saints Row.
Hey, guys. What you got in the... Oh, stolen Marshall MDI-101 M9 multi-rocket shoulder launchers. Nice. My buddies and I have been looking all over town for those. Have you been hoarding? See, we need them for our startup. It's a criminal empire kind of...
The new Saints Row.
And,
you said new Saints Row. No, here you go. But look at here's the fair game, and literally the whole plot to Ironheart is this whole quote right here. Take it till you make it. And I couldn't look away. I couldn't think of any other thing. The take it till you make it thing was cringe. Also, she could at any point sell things for money. Like Doofenshmirtz. It's just like...
Well, we already did all that. We were like...
Yeah.
They should have did the water
not a lot of people are going to watch that shit. And all I had to do is say, you know, you could have been Doofenshmirtz and sell some shit. And actually made shit tons of money.
That's what that guy did in the show, but they just didn't do it.
He bought black market shit.
They actually cucked it.
I've had so many ideas. 3D printed corneas, a second iron stomach to make food poisoning a thing of the past. Nanotech muscle fibers that increase strength and invulnerability. A biomesh material for skin. Laser enhanced fingernails that never break or crack.
Listen, hey.
This is all black market tech that I've heavily modified and can be traced back to me. You can't use it to make something even more illegal.
But Joe, we can make something legit. Think about the possibilities.
She is the most comic book accurate in the MCU history.
Yeah, it's a weird thing because nobody cares about her comics. It is a one for one. It's what a comic book fan would want.
Dude, technically,
Except,
that writing was peak.
Yeah, no matter how woke Ironheart could be, which it really wasn't.
It was spot on.
It was pretty spot on to the comic book.
Spot on.
It wasn't woke. It was just... very, like, who remembers...
I even didn't mind the gay
I know.
guy.
Who remembers on the internet the Marvel's Runaways, this is a TV show, by the way, and Marvel's Runaways and Cloak and Dagger? Who remembers those? Who watched them? Who remembers them? And then you got, like, something like from DC, actual CW, Stargirl. Shit like that. Those shows only lasted so long because they were mid. And this would be the essentially the same thing.
No, I will rebuttal that. The only reason why Stargirl left...
Stargirl got 2 seasons.
CW was shit by then.
Well, yeah, that too. That's why I said it's Flash after season 4.
Because CW was like, we're not doing hero shit anymore.
Let's go through the timeline of the beginning, middle, and end of Ironheart. Viewing through the eyes of Denzel Green here.
To get to this guy.
So Ironheart dropped his first 3 episodes, and I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty good. But since the usual suspects are already posting their reviews on how this is the worst thing ever, I figured I'd take my crack at it, because I'm actually competent at this. First and foremost, let's get the stuff that I liked out of the way. Riri Williams is a good lead. I like the fact that the show uses her genius to deal with her...
Yeah,
she is a good lead. They nailed the writing, yes. They did nail the writing. It's perfect.
So I didn't watch any of the Nerdrotic or the Critical Drinkers, so I don't know exactly what they said. But yeah, that was pretty generic shit until episode 3, where I would say...
Well, no, they would say it's shit because of the, the car
Oh,
scene.
no, the first 3 minutes you shit on Iron Man is that's a crazy work right there. And it was like immediate turnoff. Most people are going to see that and be like, ugh. It became a thing online where they would say, would Iron Man be Iron Man without the suit? Actually, he got talking about the comic book where he actually loses all his memory and swaps with Doctor Doom, which is basically what's about to happen in the MCU itself. Except instead of winning like he does in this comic, where he proves that he is good man without the money, he loses and becomes Doctor Doom and becomes the exact stereotype that Riri needs to fight. Which is why it's a through line that you know is gonna.
That actually would have been fucking awesome if she fought Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, and then you got Riri having a little bit of magic inside her suit.
Because she was the new Iron Man.
Yeah, that's gonna happen. So you can see why they're doing it and where they're going, but it's like, who cares? Also, just generally speaking, I don't know how this didn't become a plot point, but she joins a gang, but before she joins a gang, commits a, like, high-stakes felony.
Why are you guys doing this to Riri?
We're just here to make sure she doesn't take anything that's not hers.
I would never. She built that with her own grant money. I did that, right?
And despite what a bunch of morons with podcast mice could tell you, the supporting cast is actually pretty good too. I like the Hood and his gang of misfit thieves trying to take back what they believe society owes to them. And I like the way it incorporates the mystical.
Weird part about that, let me go whip that out. They're already millionaires.
Let me walk you through it. I already have majority stake in all the top performing companies in your portfolio. Just think of me as an invisible partner with controlling interest. Tunnel, Gannon, Procoin, and the list goes on and on. But now I want the crown jewels.
I get the concept, but like, they're all millionaires by that point, and they don't have to do it. They're just kind of done.
No, but that choreography was shit.
Bob, that's different. It's a TV show. That's why we say CW.
No, it's worse.
That's why we say CW. The thing is, the cast doesn't have personalities, all right?
No, the gay guy does.
His personality is gay. They don't get a lot of lines. They don't get a lot of screen time, even. They don't interact other than to do the jobs they do. That's the thing about the is it woke department, where the gay guy is there, cool, but he doesn't do a lot. So,
dude, the Good Girls Spanish guy,
he's
got
everything.
more dialogue.
Yeah.
Than they all did.
Now for the cons. That first episode, rough as hell.
Agreed.
The dialogue, specifically the AAVE, feels a bit forced in the first episode, but it does get better in episodes 2 and 3. I felt like as the cast settled into their roles, the conversation became more natural. Also, the pacing felt a bit rushed. Like, I feel like there was a lot of interesting story in her being expelled from MIT, but they just blow past it.
I'm pretty sure it started out as a movie and then got, elongated. So the actual pacing got better, I would assume at least, that the actual pacing got better than what it would actually look like as a movie.
Yeah,
like,
you ain't getting good pacing for 6 episodes. You're just not.
Obviously, if they made Ironheart into a movie, the pacing would have been fucking ass if you watch the show.
No, yeah, because they still would have had the same dialogue. Low key, high key.
Talk about the pacing.
Then exposition is important, but exposition shouldn't feel like exposition. All things considered is about on par with the rest of Marvel's TV offerings, where it's not winning an Emmy, but you will have a good time, as long as you're not looking for something to be mad about and disguising it as an opinion. For me so far, the show is a solid 7 out of 10, and anybody who's telling you that it's the worst thing ever because it's DEI woke garbage couldn't pass a kindergartner spelling test. Like I promise you, Critical Drinker cannot read. I am surprised he found the Disney Plus app on his computer. I promise you that Nerdrotic would probably struggle to give a thesis on Cat in the Hat, and thought that Catcher in the Rye didn't have enough cool pictures. These are grifters who probably rely on ChatGPT to write their video scripts because they're running out of things to say. But as for this one, it's alright. It's enjoyable. About on par with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But as always, it's just my opinion. As always, I want to hear from you guys. Are you watching Ironheart? What do you think of it?
When it comes to the Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker hate, obviously this guy does not like their opinion at all. And you'll see over the course of this video, he must get a lot more comments from people he assumes are those type of people or their fans. I do in fact subscribe. I do enjoy their videos. But it's not like I have to hold their exact opinion. If they don't like a movie and I enjoy the movie no matter how retarded it is. Like, I don't know, John Wick Light. That's what the movie is. That's an accurate example of what the Ballerina is. If you wanted to describe the Ballerina, it's John Wick without the dick. Alright? We're gonna go woke.
John Wick,
yeah,
no dick.
Yeah, without the dick. So, If you want to go woke DEI, I hate this garbage grift, I'll tell you right now, I enjoyed the Ballerina. And I didn't even know I was going to enjoy it nearly as much as I did because I didn't know how they were going to make them fight. But yeah, her fight scenes were fucking glorious. Dude, she whips out a flamethrower and has a flamethrower fight with another guy. She takes a guy, and this is one of the cooler scenes, takes the last belt on the grenades, wraps it around his neck, and jumps over a table she knocks over, and then she, kind of like hiding past the table, and it explodes.
Oh, you mean like Nobody?
Yeah, sort of.
With the Claymore?
But I'll tell you that you could tell based on the way that maybe I'm describing the movie that I enjoyed the movie to its maximum. The Nerdrotic guy, you don't have to agree with him 100%, but then he'll whip out insiders and numbers on who's viewing Disney Plus and the approximations, and then he has the guys telling him what happens in specific episodes. He was the guy, I watched Daredevil, and he was the guy hyping up Daredevil Born Again for me, telling me the episodes are going to get better. Eventually he gets the suit, and Muse is really awesome. This is why we made the video on Muse, plug.
It turned out to be ass.
There will be fans that are overzealous and crazy. We had the Snyder Bros when it comes to the Superman. They exist, and they will always exist, and they're probably in that man's comment section hitting them up, and he assumes they're Nerdrotic fans. See, we probably had an opinion or two that matched them in our previous video about Ironheart.
Does not decide to sell the patents for the tech or the tech itself to corporations for potential millions, hundreds of millions, or hell, billions. Riri Williams decides to forge ahead and make thousands by joining a criminal organization.
And all I have to do is say, you could have been Doofenshmirtz and sell some shit and actually made shit tons of money.
That's what that guy did in the show, but they just didn't do it.
He bought black market shit.
They actually cucked it.
Because stealing and breaking the law is only bad if other people do it, Riri immediately accepts his offer. Like, you realize you could just take this kind of technology to any major tech firm in the country and they'd give you so much cash you could swim in it, right? Or how about Wakanda? They seem like they'd be more than happy to have someone of your talents on boards. But nah, it's better to throw your hand in with a bunch of retarded criminals you've never even met before, led by a man so obviously shady he's literally wearing a villain's pantomime cape, on the vague promise of financial rewards later.
So Ironheart just wrapped up its 6-episode season, but did it stick the landing or did it crash and burn under its own mediocrity? For those who don't know, Ironheart follows the young genius Riri Williams, as she battles not only the Hood and his gang of thieves, but surprisingly also battles her past and trauma. After watching all 6 episodes, I can say with full confidence, this is one of the MCU's best TV show offerings. I love how three-dimensional they make Riri. While she is a genius on the level of Tony Stark, she's not driven by hubris or vanity. Rather, she uses her genius as a means of avoiding dealing with—
driven by hubris?
Mephisto literally preys on the hubris of weak individual. Hood reflecting his actions on top of Mephisto's actions on how he treated Riri, abusing somebody else's hubris. Ironheart's one of these characters, right? She's the overconfident, I need recognition now, I don't care about anybody else, it's all about me characters.
You want to make more money, right? Well, the fastest way is to get promoted quickly. And to move up, you need to distinguish yourself. Okay, but how do I do that? By working alone. Show the higher-ups you're not just a member of a squad, you're damn good on your own. The sooner you do that, the closer you'll get to your goal. Promotion, 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 promotion!
I don't specifically like those type of characters. Throughout the show, they're supposed to learn and grow as people, become more open-minded and
that's where their
and
character
friendly.
arc becomes good.
But it didn't have any fun actually watching. So it's not a woke concept, it's just basic storytelling is what I'm trying to get at you at.
Her relationship with her AI Natalie and how it informs her character struggle, I felt was very unique. And the same can be said of this show's villains. What makes him interesting is that he is a mirror reflection of what Riri could be. His villainous acts are a response to loss, abandonment, and trauma. However, where Riri learns to eventually share her pain and lean on her loved ones for support, the Hood would rather push his found family away and never trust anybody. And while its first episode is definitely the weakest of the bunch, I feel like if you stick with the series, it definitely ties all these themes together. And it does so in a way that I guarantee you will not see coming. This next bit is pure spoilers, so if you have not watched the series, turn this off now. Because showing a character's inability to deal with loss and pain is one thing, but showing how far they will go to avoid dealing with it is something else. Having Mephisto be the final hurdle that Riri has to overcome at the end of the series was brilliant. And the thing that makes it even more brilliant is
I found
she didn't even overcome him.
Yeah.
It just ended.
She didn't overcome him. She gave in to him. I waited 5 years and now she's back to...
No, someone else did that. Someone else made the deal. Or did...
No, she did that.
Dirty deal. I don't think so.
No, she did that.
I think that the black lady did some other witch stuff.
No. Be more specific. How about detailing that one real quick?
She is doing the sigil stuff. She has no idea that Mephisto is a thing. Or she does.
Riri does.
No, she doesn't. She does, but she doesn't.
This is in the future.
Oh, is that supposed to be Riri?
This is Riri. What are you talking about?
I might be racist.
This is Riri.
I might be racist.
She's the one doing the sigils because she's doing the math and shit. She's mixed magic and what's it called, so she's got to, keep it up. She's got to mix it.
Then why even go back to the...
Her hair is not in dreadlocks anymore, dummy.
But then why go back to the point...
You're both dummies. I said I wasn't going to give no hate, but yeah, you're both dummies if you think that...
I thought that was a...
She fought off Mephisto.
Literally thought that was the magic chick.
Having Mephisto be the final hurdle that Riri has to overcome at the end of the series was brilliant. And the thing that makes it even more brilliant is the fact that she fails. But it's not a failure that feels out of character given what we know of the character from the pre.
Never mind. I take it all back. This is a reaction after all. I did not watch these. You're just retarded. See?
Well.
Let me whip out the glaze. Gotta ham it up.
5 episodes. I love that it shows that Riri has learned some of the lessons that the show was trying to teach her, but she hasn't learned everything. And that it shows that she still has a lot of growth to do as a character, and that it's gonna get a lot worse before it gets better. The show definitely took its time getting the engine started. However, once it was fully revved up, I enjoyed the ride. Ironheart gets an easy 8 out of 10 from me. Argue with your mama. It has heart, it has something to say, and it has a devilishly good final hook. And if you bring up stupid talking points from stupid people, I'm gonna assume your idea of fine dining is a box of Crayola.
See, like I said, this guy might be getting like majorly heated from just random comments. Again, when people whip out hate for like comments and shit, I think they need to show the comment for how stupid a specific comment could be.
Yeah, these are the people.
Because then you're aiming at the commenter and not the like random community guy that might be a fan. He might
sometimes be a fan. Comments are retarded.
Because comments can be stupid. Again, we had a guy that said GT was canon. 100% you guys are just delusional when we were talking about Daima. How can these people be real? It gotta be a bot. But I'm not going over there and saying Geekdom 101 has fans. They're coming after me in the comment section. Give examples of the kind of comments you're getting. Because what if they're reasonable? What I said before with the it makes no sense that Riri Williams can travel across state lines and steal $1 million worth of tech and not have the cops called on her and arrested. And then she joins a gang where a guy happens to die and they still don't ask many questions. They're just kind of there, the cops. Daredevil Born Again, where the one hurdle you just have to turn your brain off for is how Fisk becomes president or mayor. The answer is he does in the comics, and I wanted a Trump allegory. I wanted to make New York great again. I heard, based on Stealth, that in the comic he used magic to make everybody forget that he was a fucking gangster, and the explanation in real life would be, well, Trump's a villain,
Just a friendly reminder to people that the whole there's 2 sides to every argument thing only applies when one of the sides isn't freaking stupid. I recently had somebody tell me that I don't take the time to actually refute the quote-unquote legitimate claims of known grifters. Claims of DEI, wokeness, an agenda, etc., etc. And while I could sit down and make an entire video essay explaining how and why they're wrong in each and every one of their points, I would essentially just be using all my vocabulary to say they're stupid. It was stupid when they brought it up in The Acolyte. It was stupid when they brought it up in The Boys. And it's stupid when they bring it up in every single MCU project.
It was in that,
the SAG.
The Writers Guild.
The Writers...
It was in the Writers Guild.
That if you're going to make a TV show or movie specifically in California, I think, that it has to have those elements. It's literally built in.
That's debunked right there.
So it doesn't even have anything to do with making them black because I just couldn't find another actor or I don't care about this character. It's literally like built into the code. If you're going to give me an example of the Marvels was just a bad movie concept. If you actually watched Captain Marvel, the movie, it's generic.
It's generic.
It's generic. There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, the DEI is built in. I think everybody understands that As long as the story's good, it doesn't really matter. You want me to give you an example? It'd be Velma. Velma, everybody watched it, and everybody hated it. There is not one normal human being that enjoyed Velma, and that is the definition of woke. Unnecessary as fuck. Shoved drama down my throat anyway.
There's a difference between having legitimate critiques of direction and writing, and then there's whatever the hell that comes out of these clowns' mouths.
Does not decide to sell the patents for the tech or the tech itself to corporations for potential millions, hundreds of millions, or hell billions. Riri Williams decides to forge ahead and make thousands by joining a criminal organization.
If I have to sit down and explain to tax-paying adults why the existence of something called a woke chin is dumb as hell, if I have to sit down to adults who own—
What's a woke chin?
I have no idea.
The fact that you can't take criticism?
I have no idea.
Is it like
yeah, it could be weak chin. I don't know. Fuck me, I don't know. See, this is how you know you whip out your comments and you too lost in the sauce. I don't know what that means. It could just be something French. Nerdrotic guy has MCU and let's talk about the Spanish people and Blue Beetle. That's just him whipping out cringe jokes and he knows they're cringe. I've never even heard woke chin.
On passports why the existence of a show or movie that has a black or female lead is not the death of masculinity. If I have to explain to adults—
No, just the lead can be annoying or badly written. Power of one, the power of two, the power of many. Everybody clowns on this shit. Normal people are sitting there looking at that like it's crazy. There's a critique. And it's cringe.
That are legally allowed to buy alcohol, that the thought process of LGBTQ representation brainwashing your children. When we grew up with a butt-naked red devil on Cartoon Network and did not all become Satanists, if I have to take the time out of my—
Now if we're doing the LGBT thing, how about kids?
I have already seen those things on the news where they are just drag queening through schools
No. Screw that part. I'll make sure it's big for you. You might be saying that with Marvel, but this is a children's book. This is a children's book called Gender Queer. I looked up gender queer and inappropriate images just to find this specific one. This isn't media specifically, so I'm going off topic. The other one was a book.
Why do liberals want to teach kids about sex so much? Butt plugs in this case? Wait, what?
I think that safe sex is always important. Safe sex practices are always important.
Well, if safe sex is important, what does that have to do with a butt plug, though? That's a sex toy.
And that is that's queer sex, though. That's not heteronormative sex. And then you called it disgusting. Yeah. So you told me that the sex that my counterparts have is disgusting, and I don't—
It's not this— what?
See how that is not openly homophobic.
Okay, so again, I don't see how you can see the we're trying to get your kids with the old the gayness department versus a cartoon versus physical.
So instead of the sex ed, it's literally—
I'm going to show you the proper way to put on a condom. First of all, you remove the condom from its package. Then you find which way the condom rolls out. Put it in your mouth and apply.
With his mouth, you remember that shit? These are in TV shows for jokes, and they turned into real life.
Exactly, and I think that's what that book was detailing, is how to safely use those instruments.
On how to use
butt plugs. We don't need to.
Children.
We don't need to do that.
Are you a parent?
I'm not a parent.
I would have never guessed.
You're not a parent. Okay. And you are a parent.
Yes. Today, to explain any of that, I'ma just call you an idiot. DEI is not a bad thing, nor is it the opposite of merit. Oh, and don't get me started on the people who are like, we just want the characters to match the description. I find it weird that a bunch of you care
about— what Slug look like? Yeah.
No, that's a good example of—
The character was useless, so whatever.
Yeah, that's a good example of doing that.
Was he gonna contribute to the storyline? No, he was gonna sit in his fucking chair because he can't fucking move.
I promise you, nobody prior to 2025 was cosplaying as Slug. Y'all will say a queer person can't have that role because of quote-unquote accuracy, when Hugh Jackman is a tall, handsome man.
They weren't going for accuracy back then. So if it's made in 2003, YouTube doesn't even exist. Nobody's voicing the concerns on the internet other than people that have access to the forums. People were throwing hate back in the day. Just like they were throwing hate at every person that gets casted as Batman, every person gets casted as Superman, everybody that gets casted as the Joker. I'm pretty sure that Michael Keaton would have got hate. Not George Clooney, other than the movie being asked. Definitely Michael Keaton. But that was in the 80s. Again, you're whipping out the forums. The thing that nobody pays attention to if you're a normal human being. You have to actually go out and look for that shit.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together to bitch about movies and share pornography with one another. This is a site populated by militant movie buffs, sad, pathetic little bastards living in their parents' basement, downloading scripts and what they think is inside information about movies and actors they claim to despise yet can't stop discussing.
That's like the fun of YouTube itself, is being able to voice your opinion online, and whether or not somebody watches you is just cool. You know, if they do, they do. If they don't, well, you don't have any viewers. We're blessed to drop a video and then fucking 3 people randomly.
Some people, yeah.
Yeah, 3 people randomly subscribe as I don't have a video out. God bless those people.
Never mind, there was hate. Wade Wilson.
No, that's X-Men Origins, and that's literally fucking up Deadpool. Come on.
I know.
Come on.
That was the one. That was the hate.
Again, doesn't count.
That was,
everybody hated it.
Yeah, that was the hate.
Everybody agrees, therefore it does not count as a hateful, grifting thing.
What do you call that version?
X-Men Origins Deadpool.
X-Men Origins.
In need of serious therapy. Oh well, why does it feel like every movie suddenly hates men? As somebody who has been a male his entire life, I can tell you with all certainty that the answer to your question lies in therapy.
What?
All
what
right.
kind of answer is that?
Well, and to put She-Hulk in the background. See,
why does everybody hate men? As a dude, that's just the worst answer you could possibly give.
Yeah, it is, because I assume he goes to therapy. Generally speaking, if you're going to have that advice, you might as well do it yourself,
well, no,
right?
You could grift and say something and then never do it.
As he says, get therapy because you didn't like She-Hulk. Everybody and their mama understands that She-Hulk was pretty shit. You might have been able to enjoy it. There might be some fans, but there are more haters that wanted a season 2 than there were fans. Same goes for the Acolyte.
Lies in therapy. If a girl beating up a guy makes you feel like the project hates men, but can understand with full comprehension why Thor beating up Hela is not an assault on women, then congratulations. You need to talk to somebody with a degree.
I already made the ballerina comparison. I don't need to do
No, Hela clapped his ass. He needed Ragnarok to kill her. She was so powerful.
Well, also everybody liked that movie.
Why didn't he just use Brie Larson as the example?
Yeah, which is a good example of a generic movie that got overblown hate.
Because, dude.
Somebody with a degree on their wall. Oh well, why do TV shows and movies feel the need to race or gender swap pre-established characters? Crack open a comic book from the 1950s and count how many named characters are people of color or women. Once you reach your grand total of exactly 2, you will understand why. Gary Oldman played Jim Gordon, and he was amazing. Jeffrey Wright played Jim Gordon, and he was amazing. The character of Jim Gordon is not dictated by his skin color. There do exist characters whose race is paramount to their character, and in those cases a swap should not be made, but 9 times out of 10 you do not care unless it's a main character. I say all that to say that if you get upset that I do not treat these grifters' points as if they are valid, it's because their brains don't have wrinkles, and if you defend their points, I assume that yours is smooth as well. Argue with the wall, I do not care.
The first 3 episodes of this new TV show just dropped last night, and obviously since this was announced, it's been like one of the most controversial Marvel shows online. Because as I mentioned, the first 3 episodes of this show are the only ones that are released, and yet if you go to the ratings for the full series on any platform like IMDb, you can see in this screenshot, the ratings are just incredibly goofy because you have all these people 1-star review bombing because they're like, oh my god, it's the MCU, they made Iron Man woke and stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of crazy to think about the fact that all these 800 1-star reviews are probably just grown men that were sitting around waiting for the show to drop just so they could immediately review bomb it without watching it. But then you have this other weird side of it where now it's also getting like love bombed by people trying to cancel it out and be like, oh no, the grifters were wrong, it's an absolute masterpiece.
Oh look, he's even saying that it's probably pretty much in the middle.
Because you can see the 2 most common ratings on IMDb are 10 out of 10s and 1 out of 10s. Obviously the show's not a masterpiece or just unwatchable sludge. For me personally, I watched the first 3 episodes. I didn't really care about what was going on. It's probably like a 4 or 5 out of 10 for me so far.
Hey!
That's the first time I've ever heard him say something.
Damn, boy, that's good for you, dude. So not every Disney defender is out here repping Ironheart. I had to look to see him actually look for that. But this guy glazes Marvel projects.
Ended, so here's my spoiler review on the whole show. Before I get into the review, most of the hate you see online regarding this show is forced hate from bigots, racists, and grifters, and I'm happy to see people are starting to call them out because, dude, they're going too far. Plus, being racist in the big 2025 is not cool, man. Okay, now going into the show with actual criticisms, I thought overall the show was pretty okay. To me, the show is a slow burn. The first half of the show was pretty boring in my opinion, but the second half had me locked in. Riri Williams is not trying to be a hero, she's just trying to survive, and this show is not living up to the legacy of Iron Man, it's more so about the tragedy of Riri Williams. And dude, Mephisto is finally in the MCU. Sacha Baron Cohen is playing the character, and he's doing a really good job.
I cannot believe it's Borat. I can't believe it's Borat either. He would be so surprised if he knew Borat was in the MCU.
I thought Marvel was gonna play it safe and Riri was gonna reject Mephisto, but no, she actually made the deal with the devil. That's a pretty good twist. Okay, now on to the negatives. The pacing is a big issue. It's only 6 episodes. I feel like the show would have benefited if it had more episodes to work with and a longer runtime. And also the heist crew outside of the Hood and Ezekiel, they were all pretty lame. And the Hood was unfortunately pretty underwhelming until the end. And Ezekiel Stain, I feel like would have been a much better main villain. He's literally the son of Ironmonger.
That was his name? Anyway, yeah, pretty good review. What are the odds?
But this was the one show where they actually didn't glaze.
Glaze the shit? No. And this would have been the time to glaze.
This was one of those shows.
Because you want to, like, prop up, you know, the character. I think most people would have preferred the little blonde kid from the actual movies to be Iron Man. In fact, they should actually do that.
Magic with Ironheart is a pretty cool concept, but the problem is they did it so late in the show. Overall, I'll give it like a 6 out of 10. It's okay. But credit where...
Hey, 6 out of 10. There you go. See? These are normal. He put it above a 5. I wouldn't put it there, but...
Dude, this is one of the few MCU shows that actually stuck the landing and has a solid finale.
Boom! You looking for this? We might as well start off with the biggest reveal in this show, and that's that we have our first official look at Mephisto in his human form, played by Sacha Baron Cohen. King of the castle, king of the castle, king of the castle. We got Borat as Mephisto in the MCU. Give him $100 million. But I'm sorry, if you really thought they were gonna fully reveal Mephisto's demon form in a Disney Plus series and not a future Ghost Rider movie, you out your damn mind. But there's also the fact of how they completely changed Parker Robbins and the Hood's origin. And you know, I get it.
They completely changed his origin?
I don't really care about that.
I would like to know what it is now.
Because in the comics, him and John go on this mission where shit goes sideways, Parker Robbins accidentally kills an Asante demon and takes its hood and its boots. So I already knew something fishy was up when he didn't have his boots, just the hood. Because instead of that, Mephisto just basically makes a deal with him and gives him his hood.
Damn, he pulls a Jake and takes the hood and the boots.
Which is a complete change. It falls more in line when the Hood turns into a Ghost Rider who is an agent of Mephisto. Which leads to another change up. You learn that Parker Robbins' dad is still alive. In the comics, his dad dies at a young age. And that's why he starts getting into some shady shit to try to provide for him and his mom. And then eventually his mom dies in the comic. But here, it's the opposite. His mom dies, his dad kicks him out at a young age, and his dad still lives. And you know, I still don't know how to really feel about this because it is a really big change, and they make Parker Robbins a little less sympathetic, where here he just seems like a greedy demon, figuratively and literally. But this does set up a very interesting connection that I hope they follow through on, because in the comics, Parker Robbins' dad works for a certain person who just outlawed all vigilantes. But all in all, I thoroughly enjoyed Ironheart. I think it was a fun show. It was good. Not the best thing in the world, not great, but definitely does not deserve all the hate that it has been getting. I'll say it again, if this just doesn't work for you, it just doesn't work for you. Stop talking about it, move on. And let those of us that had fun and enjoyed this show have this. Like, who cares? Just go watch something else. If I had to give this a star rating, I'd probably give it like a 3 or a 3.5. But
3.5 out of 5, I'm assuming. Yeah, pretty good.
This is the only ever time where I've ever seen these people,
specifically all 3 of them, that I had very low expectations and enjoyed myself, just like whenever we watched the Spider-Man show. That's just how you're supposed to look at these shows.
So this is like the first time I've ever seen, like, they pull up on my feed all the time, and they're like super...
Dude, everything that ever happens in the MCU happens to be great in these guys' minds, and they...
That's the weird thing.
I vibe with it.
Like, it went from it's like a 9 out of 10 to I fuck with it. It's mid. I'd watch it, but
I love Marvel Comics. I love these characters, so I'm always going to be invested in the next one. And I feel like I have my own devil and angel on my shoulder when I watch these shows, because from one perspective, it's like, okay, I'm looking at this from just like a fun enjoyment perspective of loving these characters from my entire life. And then the other shoulder that's like, I love film and filmmaking, and it's like, you know, at times it's like, okay, this is not great writing. This is not great lighting, blocking, shot composition.
Oh, he's even whipping out his...
That's the most base take on the planet.
Oh wait, Gotcha, boy. That makes sense to me. That makes 100% sense. You know how many times we watch a movie, while we're watching it, we'll just point out, grenades don't blow up actually that way. They don't actually have very big explosions. That gun doesn't shoot that much bullets. I wish those were actually part of the shorts. The actual opinions where they go, this wasn't the greatest thing I ever saw. The other thing I saw was kind of hokey, but it made me laugh. I liked episode 3. I thought everything was...
I thought it was funny because that choreography was
I didn't even pay attention to that. See, that's the difference between you and me, yeah?
Dude, I saw the choreography and I started laughing.
All I thought was, the guy that throws knives doesn't throw knives.